Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Squad Goals Podcast, episode 7. Now, I'm your host, Gabe Walerzak. We've got our star, Seth.
What is up, guys?
And our other star over the phone, as always, we got Simone. Don't worry, he'll be with us soon. But Simone over the phone. What's up, Simone?
Yo, what is up? I forgot to clap, by the way, but hopefully you can match the audio.
Hey, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I'll match the audio. It's all good. But regardless, today are trying to match your guys' rankings. We are ranking the transfers. I almost said rumors, but we're ranking the transfers that have been confirmed across European football. Maybe some American, South American, African, Asian. Who knows? Australian football may have gotten some players. You never know.
Let's not go that far now.
But regardless, we are ranking, or I'm not ranking, but Seth and Simon over here are going to be ranking their top 15 confirmed transfers that have happened all across the world at the club level. And yeah, this is gonna be quite the episode, wouldn't you say?
It really is. I'm really excited to see how our lists compare here.
Mm-hmm. And this is as of the evening of July 3rd. Obviously, more transfers will probably be on the way, we'll discuss.
Every day there's more.
We'll discuss later on into the episode. But you guys want to get into your list?
Yeah. Before we do, I just want to mention. So for my list specifically, Simon's could be different here, but for my list specifically, I did not mention players that have not been officially announced. So what that means is there are players right now that are like 95% confirmed to be part of that team. I'll give two examples right now. Gabriel Jesus from Man City to Arsenal, and Calvin Phillips from Leeds to Man City. Two really good players that are pretty much 95% confirmed, but their official announcements have not been made yet. So they will not be in my list. They may be in Simone's list, but they will not be in my list only because I like to wait until I hear the official announcement from the team. Behind closed doors, it's probably already been confirmed. It definitely has been with like a couple players like that. But I just want to make it clear so the comments don't jump on me for like, oh my gosh, where's Jesus? Where's Phillips? Like, where are these players? I just want to make it clear before we start. Everybody on my list is 100% officially confirmed. So just wanted to make that clear.
Not bad at all.
Now that Seth fried that into our brains, I just wanted to say that my list is the exact same. It doesn't have any unofficial ones. So yeah, just to go with that, it's the exact same.
Awesome. Alrighty, and make sure you guys subscribe to the S2 Strikers channel and comment down below who your favorite transfer or best transfer is. And watch the video to see if you match their number ones. This might be a very underwhelming video if Seth and Simone have the exact same top 15 all in order.
I really hope not, but
I doubt it.
But you guys want to get in with number 15? Let's start right away.
All right, yeah. So who?
Seth,
do you want to start with me?
Yeah, we'll start with you.
All right, so yeah, I'll give my number 15 player here. So at number 15. For a transfer fee of about 35 million euros here is Fabio Vieira from FC Porto to Arsenal.
Oh, okay. Simone, counter that. Who you got at 15?
Wow. Well, for me, I actually have a free transfer. The Croatian player Perisic from Inter Milan to Tottenham.
Okay. All right, Seth, would you like to defend your pick for number 15 over here?
Yeah, so Fabio Vieira, is a very interesting player. He FC Porto, I mean, this team, they're like Ajax. They just like bring up such good youth talent, and Vieira just became a really big star at Porto. And he really took his chance last season to make a good impression for Arsenal. And 35 million euros is a pretty good fee for I'm not sure how old he is. I think he's 22, I believe, but that's pretty good for a kid there. So, um, and I think this is a really good transfer for Arsenal. I think he's going to help that midfield a lot, especially in the attacking half. I mean, Arsenal fans, they might get a little nervous because
Oh man.
he or they just have so many players in that position already. But I think Vieira can really bring like a special like ability to this team and can really make a big impact in the middle of the field for Arsenal, especially if he can get into that first team at the start of this coming season. I think the kid could really make a name for himself as a strong rookie in the Premier League. So definitely a very underrated transfer, and that's why I have him here at number 15. But I think this was a solid move for Arsenal. There were definitely better midfielders out there who, had more promise or maybe are a little bit older and have more experience that Arsenal could have brought in. But Arsenal's trying to go young. They're trying to rebuild. So I like this move a lot by them, and I think it's a very excellent signing for them.
Okay, Simone, I'm curious to hear your defense on your pick, and if you think Seth is completely wrong, or if what are you saying, my guy?
Yeah, no, I think that was a good choice from Seth. He's a very young player, and the thing is, right now Arsenal is just relying on these young players such as Martin Odegaard, who's also only a year older. He's 23, and
Very good player.
so like their midfield is a little inexperienced, but I think with a few years they're gonna have a very strong midfield because these players are very promising. So I think it is the move. I'm not sure if it's going to show immediately. Like, I don't think this next season Arsenal is going to even get top 4, but maybe in the
It'll
upcoming
take time
years.
to develop for sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's a good choice, and he's definitely in my top 20, but he didn't make it to the 15 because I just think the Perisic move to Tottenham was a very good move for Tottenham. I know that Perisic is a little on the older side. He's 33, but don't write him out. He's one of the Croatians that helped lead Croatia to the finals against France, and even though they lost, they had an insane World Cup run. He's a great
They
player.
did.
He can score all kind of goals, and he also won Serie A with Inter last year. So
He's a big
he's a
player
great
for
player
them, yeah.
overall. And so I know that he normally tends to play in the midfield, but I think they would really need the thing is with Tottenham is that they already have a very solid midfielder winger area. They have Son and a bunch of other fast players on the wing like Lucas Moura and whatnot. But I think he's going to make a good impact there. He can really control the ball well. He has good vision. He has good technical ability, and the thing is that he literally can always. The thing is, I feel like if Harry Kane misses a shot, then Perisic will be there for the rebound because his positioning is just very good. He's a very underrated player, and he plays in the midfield, but he literally you'll see him anywhere on the field. Like, he's exactly where he needs to be. So I think the Tottenham made a very good decision in bringing him in. But the thing is, he is quite old, so I'm not sure how long it'll last for. But yeah, I think it was a good choice for Tottenham for sure.
I think that could be a reason why it is a free transfer. You never know. You don't know how long he'll last. But yeah, I think you got it, my guy. You got it. You got the nail on the head, Seth. Number 14 for both of you guys. Who do you guys got? Number 14.
So before I give my number 14, I just want to give my take on Simone's 15 pick.
Go ahead. Do your
Here. I actually really like that pick at number 15. I was really toying with Perisic and making either honorable mentions or top 15. And he actually just missed out in the honorable mentions. So he's not in my top 20, but he's just outside. I think it's a really good signing for Tottenham, bringing some good experience. And I think he'll be a good role player. He is a bit older, which is a little scary, especially. being older and now coming into the most competitive league in the world, it's a little scary. But I mean, I think he's only 33, so like he's not crazy old. But I'm I'm just a little worried about where he's gonna fit into that Tottenham team, because I mean, you got Harry Kane, you got Son, you got Moira up top, you got Richarlison, who just signed with them. Obviously they have a good midfield, and yeah. So, but I do like the signing. I think if he can find a role in that team, he'll be effective like he has his whole career.
Alrighty, that is good. That is good. Yeah, you guys got some very solid picks. I think two players that that we're not entirely sure can make an immediate impact on the team, but can make an impact nonetheless. Let's move on to number 14 to see if you guys share any similarities with your rankings so far. Who's your number 14?
Yeah, so my number 14 here is, I actually have another player from FC Porto.
Ooh.
His name is Vitinha. He was on FC Porto and is now on PSG for 40 million euros. Very good signing there.
Not bad.
He plays in the midfield, and it was really a toss up with him and Fabio Vieira. Like, both these players coming out of Porto, two of the best players for Porto last season. It makes sense why they got these big transfer moves to big clubs here. But yeah, I mean, this player is just a really dynamic midfielder. His ability on the ball is really strong. And I think he is, I think he's also 22 as well. And he comes in highly rated, very skillful on the ball, good vision. And I think he has the ability to come into PSG and honestly make an immediate impact in that midfield. PSG's midfield it's not terrible. They have some big names there, with, Verratti and Wijnaldum. But even Di Maria sometimes drops there. But I think Vitinha is somebody that can really hold down that central midfield, create good combination plays with, Messi and Mbappe and Neymar and anybody, the whole team, honestly. Like, he can really just combine with them well. And I think this is a really good opportunity for him to grow, going to a club as prestigious as PSG. And I think it was a really underrated signing, but a really good one for PSG, bringing in some good youth that I think can really bolster their midfield.
Okay. Well, Simone, what are your takes on Seth's number 14 pick? Seems like a decent deal for PSG. And once you do that, let us know your number 14, my guy. We're curious.
Yeah. Well, I guess we took completely different approaches actually to this line, because I'm choosing extremely old players while Seth is choosing some of the youngest players in the game right now. For my number 14, I have Lorenzo Insigne. From Napoli to Toronto FC, and he's also a free transfer.
What a beautiful man selecting the MLS in his top 15. We'd love to see it. Love to see it.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You'll be surprised at this list for sure. But I guess I chose him because not that it was an amazing signing, just more that I was surprised and I thought it was one to highlight and talk about. Because yeah, I do agree with Seth. Like, I think in terms of like quality and how effective they're gonna be, I think that Vitinha was the right choice, and he's also in my top 20. I just didn't choose him because I was more interested in talking about, these crazy transfers that I wasn't expecting, essentially.
Right.
Because for me, Insigne, he's 31. He's a little on the older side, but he still has at least a few more years of top level football. And he did extremely well. He did extremely well in the Euros, and he's a small guy, but he can dribble and he can shoot.
Very versatile. Yeah. Great player.
And I was just extremely shocked to see him go to Toronto, which is why he's in here, because just this great player is just leaving these not to say that the MLS isn't a big competition or league,
not yet.
I thought that he would stay in. I thought that he'd definitely stay in Europe, and I'm very shocked to see him go. and that's essentially why I brought him up, because he's a very good player and he's gonna do amazing at Toronto FC. You know, that's how all European legends, or at least good players, do. Yeah, I'm just very shocked with this signing, which is why I chose it.
That's how it is. We need European legends to bolster up American football
100%.
or American soccer. I don't know. Football.
No, 100%. And no, I like that pick actually. Our buddy Isaiah, who's been on the podcast before here, is a huge Toronto FC fan, and I was so mad at him when they signed Lorenzo Insigne. I was like, how did your team get a player of this quality? Like, I just didn't understand it. Like, but I think that's not just a great move for Toronto. That's a great move for the MLS.
Mhm.
Like, we love to see that for the MLS. Like, bringing in, like everybody knows the MLS to be the league that brings in top European talent when they're like 40 years old and like, you know, retiring.
Yeah, like
Literally.
Wayne Rooney to what, DC United, right?
Like Wayne Rooney, Zlatan.
He was amazing for us.
Like and they're really good. Like they're really good even at that age when they come in. But now we're starting to see people like Insigne still in his prime, literally fresh off of winning the Euros with Italy, is now going to be playing in the MLS, where this dude probably could have signed for a team like Barcelona or something. Like he's still that
honestly,
good
with his quality for sure.
Yeah, so like I really like that pick, and I'm really happy to see this for the MLS as a whole. Like, it's good to see.
This is massive for them. So that is beautiful. And Simone, I'm glad you were able to bring up this pick, and I'm excited for your guys' picks in the future. And speaking of that, number 13, lucky number 13. Will we continue this trend of Seth picking the youngins and Simone going with the old geezers out here? Seth, what do you got for 13?
Yeah, so I want to apologize to Simone. I went in right to my analysis on the player before I gave him a chance to even say his player. So
Oh, no worries.
I'm not gonna let that happen for the rest of the time here. So, but yeah, let me give you my number 13. And yes, I am continuing the trend of the youngsters here.
Oh boy!
And at number 13, I got an interesting one here, but a move that I really like it really.
I would hope so. He's in your top 15.
Well, yeah. But I've got Sven Botman, the Dutch defender here, going from Lille to Newcastle for 35 million euros.
Okay. Now, Simone, please tell me you picked an old geezer for 13. Continue the trend.
So for 13, this is another free transfer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man, he loves his free transfers.
Hey.
And it's another Italian player at the age of 37. Giorgio Chiellini. He's going from Juventus to Los Angeles FC.
Yes.
Wow.
I like that.
The Los Angeles Football Club is just bolstering up on talent.
Yes.
Chiellini. Okay. I'm interested to hear Simone's take on that pick and if he appears later down the line in Seth's rankings. But Seth, talk about your number 13, this Dutch defender heading to Newcastle. What's this about?
Yeah, so Sven Botman here, he is a really strong defender, and he was for Lille. He honestly did everything he could for that team. He was part of the team that when Lille won Ligue 1 in the 2020-2021 season, he was part of that team beating when the one time like PSG didn't win the league. He was part of that team. And his development has just been so good, like year after year. And there were a lot of teams after him. Like he was like rumored for a while to go to AC Milan, who will be competing in the Champions League. I mean, we're talking about a 6'4" center back, a big Dutch defender, kind of like built like a Virgil van Dijk, who just has a really strong presence in the back line, really good like in the air, really good with his slide tackles, 1v1s. And I just think this was a steal for Newcastle. I mean, like you're looking at a team in Newcastle who is not playing Champions League football. This defender had a chance to do that, but is coming to the Premier League to play for Newcastle, who, and this is good for Newcastle because I mean, obviously with their new owners, they have a lot of money now. Like they can literally like afford almost anybody with their new owners. Like they have so much money, and they're starting to, really just bulk up their team now with good talent. And I think this was a great signing, a good presence to have in the back line for Newcastle. It was just really impressive to see them get this signing, which is why he made it into my top 15, because I think it's really good to see good talent like this being spread out throughout the Premier League. Like, it's not just going to the top 6, like the top 6 big clubs in the Premier League. Like, it's going to the other clubs there. So, yeah, very impressed with this signing, and I think he's going to be a really good asset, really good defender for Newcastle.
Okay. Simone, do you agree with Seth's notions right over here before you talk about yours?
Again, yeah, like just to say, like I feel like our lists right now at this moment they can't really be compared because we just took 2 completely different approaches.
I mean,
We
that's
did.
understandable.
Like I think that they're both valid in their own way. Because I mean, shoot, like the youngsters are extremely important to the game just as much as these old guys are, even if not even more important, because they're the ones that are going to be the future of the game. These old guys have already, run their share. But the thing is, some of these old guys aren't even that old, which is why I have them in there. Why I'm so shocked about them leaving. But anyways, I do think that Sven Botman is a great player, and I just wanted to correct Seth. He said he was 6'4". He's actually 6'5".
Look at that, even better. We like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
We like that.
So he actually is an inch taller than Virgil van Dijk. So
that.
that's
Look
pretty
at
impressive.
that.
But anyways, yeah, I think he's gonna do great. At Newcastle. Newcastle has a bunch of small defenders that are very fast, and have a big, strong guy like him in there. It's gonna balance out that defense very well.
Yes.
And hey, I mean, he could be the next Virgil van Dijk. Virgil came out of nowhere, and then he just, like, within a season, he was known as an insanely good defender. So, same could happen with this guy. But yeah, moving back to Chiellini. I honestly thought this guy was never going to leave Juventus. He's been there for so long. I thought he was going to, retire at the age of 50 for them. The reason I mentioned him is just because I was a little disappointed with it, honestly. It's great to see him go to the MLS and continue his career. But as much as I like to see him play, I did want to see him retire at Juve. I thought that, he's probably going to do 1, 2, or 3 more years at the MLS and then retire. I think at that point you should have just retired at Juventus. Your club. That's the club you've been loyal to your whole life. And I was a little bit disappointed. But, hey, I mean, you do what you got to do. He wants to keep playing, and he knows that he's not at his top game anymore. So honestly, it's considerate, because if he plays for Juve and he's not at his top game, then he could cost them, and he knows that. So that's why he decided to leave.
Plus,
But yeah, hey,
has
I'm
money,
glad we get to
so-
keep seeing him play, especially in the MLS. It'll be great.
Although it was free transfer. I
It was
believe,
free,
so.
but yeah, they still do, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like the pick there. I will say I am a little surprised that you put him ahead of Insigne. I feel like the Insigne signing is just, just because he's still in his prime and like still very valuable. I feel like it's a little more important, but it's enough. I mean, that's just my opinion, of course. I still think Chiellini will, be really good in MLS even at his age. So yeah, really nothing wrong with that.
There we go. Okay. Not bad picks from either of you guys so far. But Seth, let's let the whole world know lucky number 12, what you guys have selected for your transfers. Oh boy.
Okay. So for my number 12, and I'll say it now, for my number 11 pick, these are the only 2 times in this list where there's actually multiple people at this pick.
Interesting.
So, yes. So let me explain. So number 12 is the Borussia Dortmund number. or
Okay.
pick, and it's because I have 3
Oh,
players here.
my goodness.
Yeah. So, I really had a tough time, you know, leaving like 2 of these players out. I just really wanted to highlight them, and that's why I just added them all into the same number here.
Mm.
But they're all going to Dortmund, so I figured it made sense to just group them all together. Why not?
Okay.
It'd make it easy on everyone. It'd make
Okay.
it easy. So, yeah, let me go through it here. And let me just say, Dortmund made a huge splash in this transfer market, and like I
They
think
did.
they really did, and like I'm very impressed with the players they were able to sign. So I'm gonna start first with pretty much the Erling Haaland replacement here. This person they signed from FC Salzburg. I might butcher the name, but his name is Kareem IDM. I don't know really how to say the last name, but he was from FC Salzburg, is now on Dortmund. He's a striker, got him for 38 million euros. And he like this kid is just super talented. I mean, Dortmund's so good at bringing in young talent. I know Simone knows that really well, and
Oh man.
he's just like he's just been he was a big star at FC Salzburg, and he just is really skillful on the ball. He can score goals, and he's quick, and he just has all the tools to excel. But he's never going to reach Haaland's level. I'm sorry.
Mm.
That's almost impossible. He's not going to be the perfect replacement for Haaland. That's not happening. But he's somebody that could come in, start immediately in Haaland's place, and make an impact. He struggled a little bit last year in Salzburg. He started that season well, but his performances started to drop off throughout the season. Unfortunately, he struggled to score away from home, and struggled a bit in the Austrian league, which you don't really like to see. But like I said, his dribbling skills, his pace, and he's really good at pressing too. I think that's going to be big for Dortmund, and I think he'll be a really good pick. So, a really good signing there for them. So I think that was good for Dortmund. So he was probably going to be the main guy here, but I had to highlight these 2 other Dortmund players. They're both center backs here. They're both German center backs here. And hold on, we have a little technical issue here. Simon says he lost us.
Uh-oh.
He cannot hear us.
Oh boy, hang on. All right, we'll call back Simone, but Seth, name your 2 other picks real quick.
Yeah, so my 2 other picks here I have are Nico Schlotterbeck and Nicholas Sule. Nico Schlotterbeck coming from SC Freiburg, going to Dortmund for 25 million euros, and Nicholas Sule going from, which you don't see this often, but going from Bayern Munich to Dortmund. Usually see players going from Dortmund to Bayern Munich, not the other way around. And this was a free transfer, but this is so good for Dortmund, because both these players are really strong defenders. I mean, Schlotterbeck is still young, and good German international player. They were able to get him at a bargain, and if he can really reach his full potential, that would be really good for Dortmund. And then Nicholas Sule, still a pretty solid defender, honestly. I just still can't get over the fact that he's going from Bayern to Dortmund. I just find it very funny because it's always the other way around. But yeah, I believe he rejected like a contract extension at Bayern, and he just didn't. I believe he didn't really feel loved at the club, so it makes sense why he's going to their rivals now. But he's still a very solid defender, and I think he'll both them being German and, playing together on the at an international level, I think this can really work well for them and really bolster up their defense big time, especially Sule. He can become a good leader as the veteran he is. So, yeah, those three players, the Dortmund pick is what I want to call my number 12 pick.
Boy.
They've made quite the splash. They all deserve to be in this top 15 list here, which is why I'm putting them all grouped together. And Dortmund is looking a little scary right now, making some really good signings with that Erling Haaland money.
Oh boy. All right.
So-
Well, Simone, before we get to you, you can hear us now, correct? Okay, perfect. I know exactly what happened. I'll explain it at the end, but it won't happen again tonight. But Simone, now that we know that Seth cheated his rankings, I'm just kidding. It was outside the top 10. Who do you got at number 12? Or how many people do you got at number 12, my guy?
Yeah. No, I only have one person. Don't worry. It's another free transfer.
Oh, Simone and the free transfers.
This is
People
good.
are splashing.
It's another Juventus player, and he is 31 years old, so he is still in his prime, and that is the Brazil legend Douglas Costa.
Ooh.
So he's going from
Okay.
Juventus to LA Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
He's got like 4 MLS
The
guys in a
MLS
row.
picks. That's what
Wow.
we love to
Look at
see.
that.
To LA Galaxy. Simone, explain your number 12, my guy. Why is this a big move?
Again, I'm just so shocked. This guy is amazing. He's a small. I don't even want to say small because he's my height, but he's not the tallest player. All right, he's
sorry.
5 foot. He's 5'8". He's 5'9" on a good day.
There
But
we go.
he's a fast player and he can dribble like crazy. He is the definition of Brazilian talent, in my opinion.
All right.
And he's 31. He played amazing at Juventus. I remember all the times that Seth and I would use him in FIFA and we would win the Champions League thanks to him getting a good cross into
What a
Ronaldo.
player.
You know, this guy,
What
he's
a
amazing,
player.
and I loved watching him play. And I know that he didn't get the most game time at Juventus lately. I know that he was on loan a lot, but I just think another move to another move to the MLS at such a young age. I know he's gonna do great there, but it's like I feel like he'd be more challenged in European leagues, and he deserves to be there because he is one of the top players in my opinion in the world right now, or at least he was back then, because I know he wasn't on top of his game, but I know he still has it. You know, Brazilians never can truly lose it. And yeah, I mean, I wish that. Yeah, I just think that he had a lot more to give before coming to the MLS.
All right. Oh, we love to hear those picks, Simone. Curious to see what else goes down. Seth, how do you feel?
You know, I like it. I actually totally forgot about that transfer. But yeah, I think that's definitely a good one. Now, of course, Simone knows we both love Douglas Costa from FIFA times. What a player, and just love watching him too. But yeah, it definitely should be a strong signing for them. And yeah, I like it. Very, very good.
Hey, now let's hear your
But I just wanted to ask if Simone, if you were able to hear my 3 picks for number 12. I don't know if you heard them all.
Yeah, I heard 2 of them. I heard the first and the second one, but I already knew what you were talking about. And
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
I mean, I think that those are great transfers as well. I didn't add them in my list, just because there were so many, like you said. But I like the way
So
that you
many.
put them all together
Yeah,
as the
we're
little
just
Dortmund
getting
thing.
started.
Yeah, I figured if I was gonna group picks, which I really didn't want to do, but I felt like I had to. I was like, let me at least just put them by club, like if together by club. So
well, we hear you're doing this again at number 11, sir.
and yeah, at number 11, it's my last time doing it actually.
All right, all
but
right.
it's only 2 players this time.
This top 10 is clean, guys.
The top 10 is clean, yes. And I just couldn't leave this second player out. I really couldn't. But they're
Okay.
again both from the same
Going to the same
going
club.
to the same team, yeah. And at number 11 here, I have Felipe Coutinho,
Ooh.
Barcelona to Aston Villa on a $17 million transfer fee. And I have Boubacar Kamara from Marseille to Aston Villa on a free transfer.
Oh boy. Well, hey, I know who else might have a free transfer at number 11. Simone, don't let me down, my guy. What do you got?
So, breaking my pattern, I finally have something that's not a free transfer.
Someone young?
At number 11, I have someone that you're very familiar with. It is Matt Turner for a $7 million transfer from the New England Revolution to Arsenal. And Seb, I just wanted to clarify with you real
much.
Wow, that's a very bold one for
Going
me
to
there.
Arsenal.
I don't know about that. Whoa.
I just look. All I wanted to say real quick, Seb, is that with the
11.
Coutinho
All
thing,
right, explain
is that I
it
think
to me.
I think just to let you know, the Coutinho thing, when you mentioned how much he was, I think you were talking about euros because I did my list in dollars, so he was 22 million in US dollars. So I think that he might have
mine
been
is
17.
all in. Yeah, he's 22 million in US dollars, but I did mine in euros. So yeah, 17 million euros.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just gonna spill the beans right now. Coutinho is my number 10. So I do agree with that actually.
Okay. Cool. Fair enough.
Cool.
So yeah, let me just talk about Coutinho real quick before I get into Matt Turner. I think he's just a funny guy. It's like the only time we see him play in form is in the Premier League. He was amazing at Liverpool before he left, and that's exactly why Barcelona signed him. And then after struggling there,
Just
mainly
didn't
because
work
of the
out at all
spotlight,
in Barcelona.
I know. He was in Messi's shadow. He wasn't able to play the way that he was used to in Liverpool. He wasn't even in the starting lineup. But now after seeing him play at Aston Villa, I'm just seeing flashes of the old him from Liverpool with those deadly cuts that completely fool defenders and has good positioning and timing overall that just lead him to score easy goals all the time.
Yeah.
But the reason I added Matt Turner, it's not the most expensive transfer. It's probably the cheapest on my list aside from the free transfers. It was $7 million. And the reason I added him was because I think it's amazing to see another American goalkeeper head off to England the way we saw it with Tim Howard. So ever since watching him with you guys, because I know you guys are big Revs fans, I could tell he was a great keeper. I've seen him
Very
save
good
many
keeper,
penalties. I know he has a lot of to improve in, but I think right now, especially having played in the MLS his whole life, the fact that Arsenal wanted him is insane, and I feel like he's in the process of following Tim Howard's footsteps. And I'm very excited for him to play top-level football, and I think that that's only going to be good news for the USA because you have this goalkeeper that's, saving shots from some of the best players in the world in the Premier League. So he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in other big national competitions. So that's why I had him. I just had him because I was so excited for the USA, and just also because not just because he's gonna improve as a goalkeeper, but because we're seeing, like, in my mind, a reincarnation of Tim Howard, just a crazy good keeper that can make it anywhere.
That is fair. We definitely really hope that Matt Turner becomes that guy. I mean, Revolution fans alike over here, except for maybe Simone, but we enjoy seeing top level talent from the team move on. But I have a feeling I feel like your pick might be more valid here come World Cup time when or if Matt Turner gets selected on that starting squad, but we don't know yet. And I think that might be one of Seth's defenses because Turner is supposed to be sliding into that backup role. And,
I'll address the Matt Turner since we're on the topic now, and then I will go into my Coutinho and Kamara pick here.
Fair enough.
So, Simone, I really appreciate you adding Matt Turner to your list, putting him at number 11, and I love Matt Turner, don't get me wrong. But unfortunately, man, I just have to completely disagree with that placement, with that pick. It is really cool to see a goalkeeper from the US go to the Prem. I definitely think that's cool. But there are some issues here. One, I actually, as of right now, I actually believe he's going to be sliding in not just as the backup, but I think as the third stringer, because currently they have Ramsdale as their starter, and I think they still have Leno as their backup. But I've heard rumors about Leno potentially leaving, so that would be good for Matt Turner. But I think as of right now, he's the third string, and that is not what the U.S. national team wants to see. Is Matt Turner not playing at all? Like they need their keeper to be getting games in before the World Cup. So I think that causes a little bit of an issue there for not only Matt Turner's development, but for the US national team come World Cup time. And like I said, love the signing. I hope one day he does get up to that starter status. That would be absolutely phenomenal. But I just think right now, the current situation, it's a little murky right now for Turner. It was a good move, and he'll get some top knowledge and quality tips from really good coaches, but like just not playing games could really hurt his career. So I hope being a backup just for like a year or so would be fine, but I really think he needs to move into that starting position if he wants to be the U.S. national team's number one guy. But I'm a little worried because the World Cup's right around the corner. And if he doesn't play from like September to November, like, I don't know, that could cause an issue. So because of that, I just don't know about Matt Turner being in the top 15, but I definitely think the transfer is great for just American soccer overall. It's always good to see like a US born like citizen US soccer guy going to the Premier League. Definitely good.
If the cup was now, I think there's a good chance
If the cup was now, it could be definitely better, but it's just really bad timing. But but I definitely hear your points.
Who knows? There's still time before the Prem season starts anyway. So
yeah. And I think I definitely like it, but I think if I were to have him in the list, I might have put him behind the Douglas Costas and the Insignes. He might have been like number 15, but yeah, still a good signing. So
respect.
I just wanted to defend him a little bit actually. I understand what you're saying.
I love my boy Turner.
Yeah, no, I understand exactly what you're saying about him, maybe losing some confidence. But the thing
just a little nervous for him.
Yeah, the thing is, look, they signed him for a reason, and I know he might not start initially. But I see him following the exact same path as Tim Howard, the way he did at Everton. And I know that it'll take time. I completely understand what you're talking about, it taking a little bit of time, so he might not be ready for this World Cup, but he's only 28, so it's only going to do him good in my opinion, because even though if he's not at his top this World Cup, which the thing is, he already is pretty solid, and obviously I know how little time it could take to ruin someone's confidence. I just think Matt Turner, this move to Arsenal is going to be very good. Just the same way, I also see him I'm kind of comparing him to Edouard Mendy, how he just completely overtook Kepa's spot as number one. And I know that Kepa was playing extremely bad, and it was pretty easy for Mendy to get ahead of him. But there's a possibility that these keepers just come out of nowhere and are extremely good. I remember Mendy for Chelsea, he won the goalkeeper of the year because in 1 year, in his very first year of being in the number one spot for keepers in the very first position. So, anything can happen with Matt Turner. And the thing is, it is a risk. And that's why I will admit it is a risk, but sometimes you have to take risks like this. And who knows, maybe he'll have the best goalkeeper performance of his life in the World Cup. But you never know. That's why I added it. Just because,
I really yeah, and I really hope that happens. I really hope everything you're saying is right. I'm just going off his current situation right now. It just scares me a little bit, but Revs fan, Matt Turner fan all day long. Really hope what you're saying is right. So
I think Simone is going off Turner's potential upside. He might have a lot of
100%
good things coming to him.
All right, so
all right, Seth, Coutinho.
Let me get to Coutinho.
He's gonna get his pick across.
Yeah, so I know Simone said he had him at number 10. I have him at number 11 with Kamara. I'll talk about Coutinho first. I mean, wow. What an absolute bust at Barcelona he was. Barcelona just messed this guy up. They signed him from Liverpool for like 160 mil. Yeah, and this is in euros.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
And
lot.
he got loaned out twice. Like he just didn't work out. And it's really good to see that or it's really good to see after him being loaned to Aston Villa that he's now signed a permanent deal with them. Because when he got loaned to Aston Villa, oh my God, what a class act. Coutinho is just such a classy player. I love watching this man play. He just bosses the midfield. He's so calm on the ball. It's just like what Simone was saying about Costa. It's just that Brazilian type. Like, I don't know what it is about them, but they just have such a calmness to them when they play football. And what he did for Aston Villa last season was just insane. He turned that team around single-handedly, carried them on their backs single-handedly. So the fact that Aston Villa was able to lock down a class act like Coutinho, perfect, beautiful. That is what they need. They need a leader like him. They need somebody who can control the pace in the midfield, create good chances for them, really combine well with their strikers, and it's just perfect for Aston Villa to have such a good signing here in Coutinho. And to get him at Barcelona had to pay 160 mil. They only had to pay 20. So definitely really good for Aston Villa there. And I'm glad Simone and I were only one pick off with him. So we pretty much agreed on where he is.
Where he lied, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. And then just briefly want to talk about Boubacar Kamara here. He's also going to Aston Villa on a free transfer here from Marseille. And man, they really dropped the ball here because Marseille just literally let one of their best young players just leave for free. They didn't get anything for him. And like Marseille, they're in the Ligue 1 in the French league. Kamara really helped this team get to second behind PSG and qualify for Champions League.
Nope.
And like he was a big part of why they finished second in the league this past season. And it's just gonna leave such a big gaping hole like in that midfield for Marseille. He can play. He usually plays CDM, but he can also play center back. He's very versatile like that. He's really good at both positions. And Marcel messed up big time by letting him go for free. And Aston Villa, what a steal! What a steal! Able to get such a young player in his prime, really good. Helped the team get to the Champions League, and they were able to sign him even though they're not in the Champions League themselves. He was like a really highly rated young player, like across Europe. Like a lot of teams wanted him. And he just really lit up Ligue 1 last year. Like with his performances were really good. And yeah, I think the big club he was like linked to was like Atletico Madrid, who are playing Champions League football and like, bigger club than Aston Villa. So the fact that they were able to get a good solid defender, center back, CDM, wherever you want to play him, really good for Aston Villa. Now you have Coutinho as well. Create some good combinations as well. Aston Villa could be looking scary, and I think both those signings for Aston Villa, perfect. They're doing a really good job this transfer market.
Okay,
so
not bad. Well, Simone has explained his number 10. You got the same player.
Yeah.
So let's go on to your number 10 and see what you got.
Yeah. So my number 10 is definitely an interesting one, but I love this player so much. So cracking the top 10 here, we've got Federico Chiesa going from Fiorentina to Juventus on a $44 million, and this is euros again, transfer.
Not bad.
So
Wait, $44 million.
44 million euros.
Euros.
Are you sure?
I am pretty sure, yes. Yeah, 44.
I have it at $44 million and at 40 million euros.
Interesting.
I mean,
For footballers, it's roughly the same, anyways. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's close enough. I could have maybe read it in dollars, but I mean, it's only 4 mil, so I'm sure Juventus has that.
Just wanted to give out the straight facts.
Yes, of course. My apologies. I may have
$44 million, 40 million euros.
I think it is $44 million. Yeah, I think this the one where the site where I found Chiesa's transfer fee was different from the others, so it was in dollars. Yeah, so
Okay.
anyways, whatever. Not important here. So but let me tell you, this player, Chiesa, I know I was telling you about him during the Euros last semester for Italy. Oh, what a player Chiesa is. This guy is just such a good, versatile, creative attacking winger. Like this guy for Italy was their pretty much their main man. Like he was the one they relied on for the creativity up front. He was the one they relied on for the goals. I mean, he just really came to be himself like this in the Euros. Like his full potential was unlocked. And he was on loan to Juventus for the past 2 seasons. So he's played with Juventus for 2 seasons, but he was on loan from Fiorentina. So it's really good to see Juventus finally, everybody's been waiting for them to finally lock down this signing, this player here in Chiesa. Him out on that right wing is just going to be so crucial for Juventus to have him. And honestly, I would have him higher, but he had a really nasty knee injury in January, I believe. And I don't think he's coming back for another few months, like until the end of this year. So that worries me a little bit. I hope that doesn't affect his form as a player because he was so good before that injury. So good. So I hope he can recover well, get back to his fast playing style of football, where he's able to just combine with players well, create chances, score beautiful golazos, and just really be a key asset for Juventus. So hopefully he recovers well. That's the only reason I don't have him higher, is just because of that knee injury. It scares me a little bit because it was a little bit nasty, but hopefully he'll recover, be fine, get back to playing how we know him to play, and he will boss the attack for Juventus. So
Not bad.
yeah, what
Not
a
bad at all.
player this
Simone,
guy
do you
is.
like this pick at number 10 for Seth?
Well, all I have to say before I tell you what I think is that he doesn't really have to worry about recovering too quickly. It's not like he's going to play in the World Cup or anything.
Oh, no.
That
brutal.
is unfortunately true for his sake. Yeah.
So-
R.I.P. Italy.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to have to disagree with Seth here. I do not think that Chiesa should be in 10th. Because I actually think he should be in 9th. He's in my 9th spot. So moving into number 9,
Oh,
we have Federico Chiesa,
okay.
the 24-year-old
Go ahead,
Italian from
speak your mind, my
Fiorentina
guy.
to Juventus. No, but like, yeah, I agree with what Seth had to say about him. The first thing I had written is finally he's officially a Juventus player
for
because
real.
it's been so long.
enough. Like, jeez.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, he was one of the most important players on Italy. The thing about him
He
that I
had
just wanted to
such a
mention
good
is that
Euro campaign, dude. It was so
did.
good. Oh my god.
he did. It was very impressive. But yeah, so he has a very unique dribbling style, and
does.
like to some it might look a little sloppy, But the thing is, he knows exactly what he's doing. And it's as if he like makes it look sloppy on purpose because it makes the defenders bite quickly because they think they can easily get it from him. And then in a second, he's already around them. So he's on his way to becoming a great player, and Juventus hits him very well. And hopefully this injury doesn't hold him back. He has a lot of time to recover. Like I said, he's not gonna. He doesn't have to worry about the World Cup or anything. So yeah, he's just gonna continue to grow.
All right. Lovely to hear. Yeah, no, it seems like this guy has very good upside after his knee injury, and we'll see how that makes him, makes his player value grow. But Seth, you're number 9 because we already know Simone's.
Yeah, so my number 9 here. My first MLS player has come in to the top 10, and at number 9, I've got Gareth Bale.
Ooh.
Going from Real Madrid to LAFC on a free transfer at number 9 here. Gareth Bale. So
LAFC is cooking with these European players.
Yeah.
What the heck?
I really did not think an MLS player would crack my top 15, honestly. And forget top 15, not even my top 10. But when news about Gareth Bale going to LAFC came out, I was like, that just shook everything up.
That's
and like,
wow.
I just couldn't believe it. I mean, you have a player going
massive developments
from one of the biggest clubs in the world, Real Madrid, to LAFC on a free transfer. Free.
The greatest, the most prolific Champions League winning team, Real Madrid, right?
Yes, yes, and
to a team that was created like 5 years ago.
You're talking about a player in Gareth Bale who's won 5 Champions Leagues and was like historically one of Real Madrid's best players, and at one point was regarded as honestly maybe like a top 3 player in the world, like right behind Messi and Ronaldo. He was that good in his prime, and he still is good. And this is just a crazy move for the MLS. The biggest move for the MLS. This is probably one of the biggest moves since Wayne Rooney was big, Zlatan was big, but this is kind of like
massive.
David Beckham big. Like, this is huge for the MLS. And Gareth Bale, who's going to be competing in the World Cup this year for Wales.
An active World Cup player.
Yeah, active World Cup player, captain for the Welsh team, still in really good form, and just needed to be given an opportunity again. He's getting older, but I still think he's in his low 30s, so I think he still has plenty of time. And
doesn't look like he'll be warming up the benches of LAFC.
No, he will easily slot into a starting spot, and he is just going to make those defenders in the MLS look so foolish, just so silly, and like,
it's kind of scary because LAFC is currently winning the league at the moment.
It is really scary, and
he's not even played a game for them yet.
I am just really happy again for the MLS to get a player of this caliber in Gareth Bale, and it's gonna be so awesome to see him just like boss the MLS. Like, honestly, if he plays like in most games, like whether that's next season, because this season's already been going on or whatever, like this dude could probably bang in like 30 goals or something like in the season, like easily for the MLS. Like,
it'll be so exciting to watch him.
Like, yeah, like I'm really excited. This is a big move for LAFC and the MLS, and obviously it'll be a place where he'll get playing time. So Wales don't need to worry about that. He's not going to be rotting the bench of Real Madrid any longer, which I hated seeing him sit the bench, but it is what it is. So yeah, love that move. The best one in years for the MLS.
Oh yeah.
And that's why it had to make my top 10 there. Gareth Bale, number 9.
Now, Simone, I feel like you're also pretty happy about the Gareth Bale pick, but what do you think about Seth's assessment?
Yeah, I think he's going to do amazing at the MLS. I think it's not even going to be a challenge for him, honestly. He's an amazing player.
God, he'll win them the cup his first year.
Insane. Yeah, honestly, I completely forgot about it since you guys told me about it, so that I didn't even think of it. But now that I'm thinking of it, I kind of want to use it to replace my number 8 choice because my number 8 choice was kind of a gag choice and kind of like a joke just to see the reactions. So
Oh boy.
let's just say he's my number 8. I will explain who I had before, but before I get into that, I think that Gareth Bale is just gonna be so easy for him here.
Yes.
Not easy, but I think it'll definitely be easier than
It'd be a really
Nah,
good
it's gonna
fit.
be. Nah, it's gonna be easy. It's gonna be easy.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to come here. I think he'll really enjoy it because obviously he barely got any playtime, and you could see how unhappy he was at Real Madrid in the last year because of how they treated him. You could see the videos where he wasn't celebrating with the team, and this guy just wants to play, and he'll definitely be able to play at LAFC, and maybe it's not the biggest club in the world, but hey, scoring goals is scoring
Oh,
goals.
it's getting
and
there.
that's
Don't
what
worry.
matters. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him, and I think he deserves it. But anyways, my number 8, I think it's an important signing. I just hate this guy. I didn't want to add him, but I had to just as a gag, just so we could all make fun of him.
Let's hear it.
Hate this guy. Number 8, I have the 25-year-old Brazilian Richarlison moving from Everton to Tottenham for $63.8 million. And
We can
I'm
understand
gonna
why
be
you're
straight
not
up
a
with
fan
you
of
guys.
Richarlison.
actually, before I tell you that, wait, before I move into that, Seth, did you say your 9th or your 8th so far?
Gareth Bale was my 9th. I haven't said my 8th.
Okay, sorry. Okay, before I get into my 8th, then you get into your 8th as well, so we can be on the same page again.
Well, guess what? We're actually going to be exactly on the same page here because at number 8, I have Richarlison.
Oh my
Richarlison
God.
going from Everton
Oh,
to Tottenham
man.
here. Yeah, so
Simone used it as a gag, and now it turns on him because Seth also had it like legit.
yeah, so
That's
I actually
hilarious.
got it kind of legit here. I'm surprised you said that as a gag because I really like Richarlison as a player, and I think he's a very or he was a like the only like solid player Everton had.
I mean, we also
and the
don't
only reason they like stayed in the Premier League was because he kept scoring goals for them. And I mean,
we also don't have to deal with Brazil as a national team, though. Not very often.
yeah, and yeah, he's like, obviously Brazil international here, and I think he's just a solid footballer. I could do without his attitude and stuff, but whatever. He's still a good player, and yeah, I have him at 8 because I think it's a really good move for Tottenham here. I mean, they're bringing in somebody who can play in pretty much any position up top in the across the top line there. And he's very versatile. He knows how to score goals. He can really create chances. Like I said, was the only reason Everton pretty much stayed in the Premier League this year.
Yep.
And Tottenham have been looking for a backup for Harry Kane, like a really reliable one for a while, and they kind of got one in Richarlison here. And the thing is I really hope like Richarlison just doesn't like warm the bench for Tottenham. Like that would be really disappointing. Like I hope he's not just the backup to Harry Kane. Like I hope maybe like I think the teams would be in trouble if we see like a 2-striker system with Harry Kane and Richarlison, because Richarlison plays striker a lot. He did for Everton, and I think if we see that, imagine having like Lucas Moura out right and Son out left, and then you got Richarlison and Harry Kane through the middle. Like, oh wow,
Yikes.
like that can be really scary. And I think Richarlison, and even if what if they just run a line of Son, Kane, Richarlison? Like that's scary alone. That's really scary. And I just really like the signing from Tottenham. I think he's a very good player, can play in a lot of different positions, and like I said, very versatile, very good at creating chances, great goal scorer, of course, and just add another element to that Tottenham team. And Tottenham will be playing in Champions League, so I think that really enticed Richarlison, the good Brazilian, to go there and play. So that's why I got him at number 8. But yeah,
Simone, I'm curious. I wonder why you're why you have disappointment for this pick. Is it because of this his history with the Brazil national team, or is it that he went to a Tottenham and not a Chelsea?
Oh no, I do not want him at Chelsea. That's all I can say. Look, he's a decent player, and it's a gag because obviously there are players that I feel deserved it more than him. But the reason I had to add him is just because he was a very expensive transfer. He was over 60 million.
That is
And-
insane.
And honestly, if I had thought of Bale, I would have put Bale over Richarlison because, I don't like him.
Well, it's fair.
This guy acts like he's the best player in the world, especially like Gabe mentioned, especially on his national team. But the thing is, he's really surrounded by players that do most of the creativity for him. So yeah, will he score some goals at Tottenham? Sure, but not more than Son or Kane will. Like he relies on creative players, and sure he can be creative in certain moments and he can score some goals, but he really relies on other players, especially in Brazil. He's not like other Brazilians that I've seen. Like other Brazilians like Coutinho or Douglas Costa, or, pretty much any Brazilian, they dominate the game. They like make it their own and they control the ball, and he doesn't really do that. He just waits up top and he'll get past a player or two, which is important, and yeah, he'll score goals, and it wasn't a bad signing, but I don't like him. He's a showboater and he's an annoying player in my opinion who loves flopping and complaining. But I mean, we'll see how he does. That's all I gotta say about
That
him.
is fair. That is fair. Sometimes
Yeah,
footballers they just aren't it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of his either. I hate his attitude and what Simone has said about him. I agree. Unfortunately, though, it's just really hard to deny his talent. He is a talented player in my opinion, and I'm really hoping like just this change of scenery, change of team will kind of just whip him into better shape, like in terms of like attitude wise, and like how like just his mouth, like just to kind of shut him up, like now you're playing for the big boys, like get in your place, like learn your place, like so that's what I'm hoping happens. But yeah, I think it's the reason I put him above Bale is, I mean, I as much as I love the Bale to LAFC, I mean, this is a top European talent, still young, going to a top flight team, will be playing Champions League football, and somebody that I think can, add impact immediately to Tottenham and, better them as long as he's, properly disciplined. And I'm pretty sure under who's Tottenham's coach right now? Antonio Conte. Is he Tottenham's coach? If he's playing under him, I don't think there's gonna be any messing around. So I think it's the right move for both parties here. So that's why I got him pretty high here. So I'm looking forward to seeing that front three.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch for sure. But to me,
Yeah.
it's all about being humble. That's the most important thing to me. I don't care how good you are. If you're a dick to the opposition, or if you're trying to like not play fairly, I just can't respect that. And the reason I don't like him is, I guess, because of my own morals. I just don't like him, and obviously maybe he'll get disciplined.
That's why I'm
where he is,
hoping
but-
he just kind of, he changes at this new team under a better manager who can control his emotions maybe a little bit better. But I agree with the player
right.
as
I can't like him right now. Maybe next season if he's respectful, maybe he'll go up. But right now, I just can't. Like the last 3 years I've seen him play, I just have not liked him. But we'll see. Maybe it'll change. We'll see.
And
But yeah, Seth. So who's your number 7?
Now we know why Simone doesn't want Brazil to win the World Cup. I see you, but all right, Seth, your number and Simone, your number 7s. Who you guys got?
Yes. So at number 7 here, this is a player that I've just fallen in love with, and honestly, I love using this player in FIFA as well. Just such a big fan of his, and I think he's gonna do really big things. At number 7, I have the versatile left back Nuno Mendes going from Sporting CP to PSG. $40 million in euros.
40 million euros.
Or yeah, I don't know why I keep saying $40 million and then yeah, 40 million euros, which I think is like 43 million dollars, but yeah, 43 million euros here for Nuno Mendes. So
Okay.
yeah.
Simone, you're number 7.
Yeah, so my number 7 is an $8.8 million loan fee.
Ooh, yes. I know who he's got
He
here.
is the 29-year-old Belgian Romelu Lukaku going from
Yes,
Chelsea
love it.
back to Inter. So, look,
I love it.
I'm going to talk about Nuno Mendes just for a quick second before I get into Lukaku. But I think Seth made a good choice of Nuno Mendes. I was going to put him up here. I just didn't know enough about him to really rank him. I know he was a decent player, and I know that he's going to, probably do well at PSG. I know he's still very young. I think he's actually my age.
Yeah.
He's 20. So, he has a good future coming up, going to this big club at such a young age. He's going to learn a lot. So, yeah, I think it's a good pick. I've heard a lot of good things about him.
Oh, God.
I think he just turned 20. In June. Yeah, June 19th, he turned 20.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, crazy.
But yeah, so anyways, going back to Lukaku, I just feel bad for him. After having an amazing season at Inter and helping them win the league, he comes back to Chelsea, one of the first clubs he's ever played at, and he tries to redeem himself for his lackluster performances in the years prior. And when he came back for $135 million, I thought he was going to be the next Didier Drogba. I thought he was going to be scoring goal after goal. I thought he perfected his art the way he was playing at Inter, and he was going to be saving us in all the important games. But after a few decent results, he just completely shut down. And I know it wasn't his fault completely. I know that there were complications with the club and some disagreements with Tuchel. But I was really disappointed to see him play so well a year ago at Inter and then barely be able to reciprocate it at Chelsea. And I mean, it looks like Chelsea still has some hope for him as they're only loaning him back to Inter, which is honestly pretty good business for Inter because they sold him for over $100 million and now they're getting him back for not even a tenth of the price.
Beautiful.
But Chelsea sent him back to see if he could get in form again, and if he does, we might have him back at Chelsea for another shot at redemption, and hopefully he gets it because this guy, he worked his ass off to get to where he was, and he just lost it in one season, and it's heartbreaking because he's received a lot of criticism in his career, and I finally thought he got over that little hunch and he was going to be he was going to be able to redeem himself, and it just didn't end that way for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So yeah, I'll go back to my number 7 here, Nuno Mendes, real quick, just to speak on him. Yeah, Simone just said turned 20 years old.
Wow.
He's Portuguese, so he'll be playing at the World Cup with Cristiano, and I'm pretty sure he should be starting in that left back spot, but we'll see. But man, this kid, I believe he was on loan to PSG, I think last
season.
Yeah, last season, and he performed really well. I think he played almost every game. He played really well for them, and honestly, this is such a good signing because he's so young and he's already really talented. PSG could probably cement this guy for the next 10 years. Legitimately, they probably have their left back of the future for the next 10 years. And that's that must be a really good feeling for PSG because it's good that they grabbed him now before so many other teams got interested. And at 40 million euros, I guarantee his market value is going to skyrocket over the years as he continues to develop, and I believe will be one of the best left backs in the world in a few years' time. So love this kid. Love what he can do. Love playing with him on FIFA. So fast. But yeah, really, really good signing for PSG. So that's why he is in my number 7 spot.
Not bad. Simone, anything to say about Seth's pick before we move on to number 6?
Oh man, I wasn't even speaking into my mic.
No, you're good, bro.
This kid, yeah, he has potential, and Oh man, excuse me. I haven't seen too much of him, but yeah, I mean, what I have seen, he seems very promising, and to be on the national team at such a young age is always impressive. And yeah, I mean, he's gonna be playing at some top teams no matter where he is. It's either gonna be Portugal or PSG now. So this kid's gonna get exposure. He's gonna play against some of the best players in the world, especially at the World Cup coming up. And yeah, I mean, he has a bright future ahead.
All right, that's what we like to hear. All right, your guys is number 6. Seth, let's go you first.
Wait,
Yes,
before we go, Seth, did you have anything to say about the Lukaku pick?
Well, it's funny that you asked because at number 6, at number 6, I've got Romelu Lukaku here from Chelsea to Inter on a loan fee of
Oh, that's
around
beautiful.
9 million euros.
Thank you,
here.
Simone, for doing the catalyst work.
Of course, my pleasure.
What do you got at number 6, sir?
At number 6, I have Sadio Mane, the 30-year-old from Senegal, leaving Liverpool and going to Bayern Munich for $35.2 million.
Okay, massive number 6s we got over here.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about your thoughts on Lukaku first.
Yeah, so the reason I didn't talk about Lukaku is because I had him next, so I was saving it there. And yeah, I mean, like everything you said was just very accurate, Simone, about Lukaku. I mean, Chelsea, this just has to go down as one of the worst transfer deals in like the history of football. Like, like Chelsea just failed completely here. You can't, you cannot sign a player for 115 million euros. And then decide, yeah, he's just not that good now. Like, he's not good enough for us, didn't do well. And then just loan him out the next season. Like, 150, like that's a lot.
Oof.
That is a lot of money. And you just loaned him out to the team that you paid the 115. Like, he's literally going back to Inter now. And like Inter just got an 115 million transfer fee, and now their player back. Like it's unbelievable. Like Chelsea just failed miserably here. Like,
Didn't Chelsea get new owners recently too?
I believe they did.
Yes.
Yes.
So they might be a bit more rich. I don't
And
know.
like, I mean, Lukaku, like he was unhappy at Chelsea. Like there were so many like tweets and stuff he made about like hinting a return to Inter because he just wasn't happy at Chelsea. And like, I'm glad to see him now like happy and going back to Inter. I did not like the transfer when it happened. I thought he was so good at Inter that year, or the year before. He should have stayed. His form was so good. He looked really, he just fit the part there. And him going to Chelsea just, it just was not good. Like, I mean, Chelsea's just having such a striker problem right now. They're just with Timo Werner. Like, do you play Timo Werner? Kai Havertz has played striker sometimes. Like, you got Lukaku. Like, I'm sure there was somebody else I was missing, but they're just always interchanging strikers, and it just wasn't good for Lukaku. And this is a really, really good move here for Inter to get him on loan for such a small fee too. A player that did so well for them. And I don't this was not a good move for Chelsea here, because
Not at all.
personally, I wouldn't have loaned him back to Inter. Like, because you already know what he's capable of doing on that team. If I was Chelsea, it might have been a little risky, but maybe, it's not ideal, but maybe if you loaned him out to like another Premier League club, you can kind of gauge and see like, oh, is Lukaku just not fit for the Premier League? Like if Lukaku if he went to another Premier League team, you could see like, oh, is he not fit? And the thing is he bombed at Man United when he was at Man United.
Yeah.
And
hard.
so we already saw that. And he bombed at Chelsea for his second stint there. So I don't know. Maybe I mean, it's not the worst that he's going back to Inter. Maybe you just see like, oh, is it just completely his form is gone? Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing for me. Like, part of me is like, yeah, it's good that he's going back to Inter, but no, it's not for Chelsea because like you've already seen what he can do. And then part of me is like maybe he should go to a different Premier League club and like an Arsenal or something. I don't know that need a striker and like or even like a Liverpool who like I mean I don't know how much they really need a striker, but you know, like an Arsenal or something. See how he does there. If he totally bombs in Arsenal, then it's like, oh, he's just probably not fit for the Premier League. Like that's it. And then like you try and just sell him. But I don't know. I'm torn on both sides. It's not the worst that he got a loan, but I just see it from both sides. But for Inter's sake, really good. I mean, they just got so much money and their player back. So that is why he's very high on my list here at number 6.
Okay. Now, Simone, you're number 6.
Yeah. Wow, Seth went into some very intricate detail about Lukaku.
Bro, I don't know why I got so frustrated about it. Like, it just...
Yeah.
I just, like, that's such a bad transfer, dude. Like, I just don't understand it. Like, 115 mil. Like,
Yeah.
For 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
It's pretty ridiculous.
That's bad, dude.
They had high expectations. They wanted the next Didier Drogba and they failed miserably. He just didn't fit into Tuchel's plan.
Nope.
And yeah, I mean, I think they wanted him to go back to Inter just to see if he could get his form back there. But then again, the Serie A doesn't translate to the Premier League, and I kind of agree with you. Maybe he should have gone to a smaller club at the Prem and just proved himself there.
Yeah.
So that he's just used to the team he's going to play against the following season. Because now he's just going to go back to playing the Italian teams, and you know it's different. It's different football in these leagues, and
yeah.
I don't know.
100%.
I don't know if it's the best, but hopefully he can get his form back, and hopefully he can maintain it at Chelsea.
It's a very messy situation there. So
yeah, for sure.
All right.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, going to my number 6, Sadio Mane. There aren't enough good things to say about him. He's a legend on and off of the pitch. On the field, he can dribble and outpace defenders with ease. Obviously, he did look a little hotter in years prior to this one, but without a doubt, he's still an amazing player and still has a lot to give. And now off the pitch, he does so much community work. He donates so much of his money and spends a lot of his time in the community that he grew up in.
yes.
So he's like, to me, the complete opposite of Richarlison. He's an extremely humble player who loves the sport and not the money. To him, it's about playing. It's not about getting paid.
Yeah,
And he deserves all the fame and
humble
respect that he
guy.
has. And
He might be the whole
Extremely humble.
reason these African nations might just be dominant in the next 10 years.
honestly, because it's about football for him. It's not about the money, and that's why I
100%.
think he'll fit in well at Bayern. Bayern loves fast wingers that can dribble, and he fits perfectly into that category.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna have a very good time at Bayern, and it does suck to see him leave Liverpool because he did have a pretty good connection with the other forwards there. But hey, I mean, things come to an end, and I think that Bayern is a good choice for him.
Yeah, I agree with that pick there. I like that a lot. Yeah, Sadio Mane, very humble guy, very respected guy in the community. Everybody loves him. You can't hate this guy. And just such a good footballer. So good. I'm a little worried for Liverpool because honestly, I feel like he was like people can argue it's Mo Salah, but I feel like Sadio Mane really like brought that like attacking core together for Liverpool over the years. Like he was really the guy that was the main threat for them and was just a very underrated threat because of Salah. And just such a good footballer, such a good attacker. Can really create chances and score goals and combine well with others. Just love him. Very happy that he made this move. He's happy about it. So I'm happy about it. Going to Bayern. Bayern are going to, really excel with a player like Mane. And yeah, this was a really good move for Mane and Bayern Munich here.
All right. Well, we finished our number 6s, and now you guys are gonna pick your honorable mentions, characters, players that did not quite make your top 15. Is that correct?
Yes, so I'm gonna be going over 5 honorable mention players here, and Simone and I will talk about them, see if he agrees with me, and then Simone is gonna give me his top, rumored transfers here, and I'm gonna see if I agree with them, if they're, whether if they're gonna happen or not, if they're actually gonna be good transfers. So yeah, we're gonna start here with the honorable mentions here. So just to let you guys know, this is in no particular order. So like whoever I start with here is like he isn't like my number 16. And then 17 or 18. Like it's in no order, just random. But like any of these guys would have fit in from 16 to 20 in my opinion. So, I'll get started here. First player here in the honorable mentions is a fellow USA guy. Actually, I have got Brendan Aronson.
Hey,
our boy.
Love to see it.
Our boy Brendan Aronson here, who went from FC Salzburg to Leeds United for around, I think it was around 24, 25 million euros. He will be my first honorable mention here. I mean, this guy, like, he's just like that annoying little gnat, like that you try and swat away, but he just he just doesn't go away. Like that's what he is for the US, and that's what he was for Salzburg. I mean, like he's very versatile too. He never stops running. That's the thing. He never stops running. He's everywhere on the pitch. Like he can play as a number 10, he can play as an inverted winger. And he did so good for Salzburg. It was time for, a move. And I think Leeds is a very respectable team in the Premier League. It's a good move for an American player like him, especially if he can get into that starting 11. I mean, he already helped Salzburg to 2 Austrian Bundesliga titles. So he's done his time there. He's ready for a new challenge at the Premier League. Just like Matt Turner coming over to the Premier League, it's just great to see U.S. talent going to the Premier League. Christian Pulisic started that new era of talent coming over to the Premier League, and it's just really good to see that. He'll be reunited with American coach Jesse Marsch, which will be really cool to see. And that partnership will be good. Hopefully will help him score more goals, get more assists. And he just has such a high ceiling. I feel like his potential is so high for us. I really hope he makes the starting 11 in the World Cup because he's really good and really underrated. And if he reaches that ceiling, if he reaches that potential, he could be like Pulisic good. Like he could be one of the best American players, and that'll be really good for himself, for Leeds United, and for U.S. soccer in general. So he just missed out on the top 15, but he definitely deserves an honorable mention. Very excited about this player to see how he's going to perform.
Okay, not bad. Why don't you go through the just the rest of your honorable mentions, just because I feel like I want to give you guys more time for the top 5,
yes,
as opposed to your honorable mentions.
Yes. So, so the next person I have on this list is Ryan Gravenberch. He is going to Bayern Munich. He was on Ajax. I believe the fee was around 18 million euros. He's definitely an honorable mention for me. One of the stars of the Ajax team. And he just, like Brendan Aronson, just kind of outgrew Ajax, was ready for a bigger challenge, ready to move on. And I believe he's only 20 years old, super young, because we know Ajax, bringing up that good talent. And the only reason he's not in my top 15 and he's in my honorable mentions is because he's a midfielder. And as good as he is, Bayern's midfield is already really stacked. So I think he's going to struggle a little to get into the first team in the beginning. But over time, I think he'll develop and he can find his way into the team. Because, I mean, you have the likes of like Muller and Goretzka and Kimmich already like established there in that,
Right.
that midfield. So, yeah, I think I think this is a good signing for Bayern Munich though. It'll give Gravenberch some time to develop, work under veterans, very good, respectable veterans in the Bundesliga, and yeah, I think he definitely can make a name for himself there if he can get himself into that starting 11.
Okay. See who else you got.
Yeah. So next up here, I have Diego Carlos, going from Sevilla to Aston Villa. So we got another Aston Villa guy here. This was about, I think it was about a 34 million euro transfer, I believe. Definitely an honorable mention. I mean, Aston Villa have just done so well in the transfer market so far. I mean, Diego Carlos, really good center back, one of the best in La Liga over the past couple of seasons. And the fact that they were able to land him, considering they're not Champions League football or anything, just super impressive. Him and Kamara, and potentially in that, both in that center back role, or whether Kamara's CDM and him in that center back role, that could look really good for Aston Villa. And Diego Carlos, I've read statements. I think he said he's looking forward to playing in the Premier League. It's a new challenge for him, going from La Liga to Premier League. So definitely very cool to see that. And yeah, really good defender. And sometimes he holds a little bit too much of a high line, which can expose him, which is could be a little bit of a problem. But if he plays it right and they, able to get on a quick counterattack, he's able to release a ball like down the sideline, then they'll be all right. But yeah, really good signing. I think he's only like 29 years old, so a little older for a defender, but not too bad at all. Still very versatile, a good build to him. Like attackers will just be bouncing off him. He's just a big guy. So really like this signing for Aston Villa. Definitely deserve to be in the honorable mentions. And then two other guys here. Somebody that Simone already listed in his top 15, actually, I have as an honorable mention is another MLS guy, Lorenzo Insigne, who we've already talked about, going from Napoli to Toronto FC on that free transfer. I think besides Gareth Bale, he is the second best transfer going to the MLS.
Right.
Like I said, still in his prime, still really good. But yeah, I won't go on about Insigne because we've already talked about him quite a bit, but he definitely deserves to be in the honorable mentions, as that's just really good to see a player of his quality and age going to the MLS. Last guy here is this is a very interesting one, could be up for debate, but his name is Ves Bissouma. He is on Brighton, or he was on Brighton, but he's now on Tottenham. It was a 35 million euros transfer. So the reason I'm saying this could be up for debate and is very interesting, and honestly, he would be in my top 15 if it wasn't for something that's going on with him. So this guy has actually been a really underrated midfielder. He's been one of the best midfielders in the Prem for quite a few years, actually. Yeah, but it's because he plays on Brighton that he hasn't been very much looked at. But he's just been such a solid staple for Brighton. So it's a tough loss for them. And I think Busama could bring a really good presence to Tottenham in their midfield. I think he'll fit in really well there. Just very versatile, good vision, good toughness, able to pass the ball well. But the reason I'm saying it's debatable and a little fishy is in October of 2021, he was arrested and he wasn't found guilty yet. He was actually released by the police, but Apparently he's like under review right now for potential like sexual assault case,
Mm.
and that is never good in for a soccer player in football, and it's still pending review. But Tottenham, I guess, seemed confident that he's gonna, you know, get out of that okay, because they signed him for a pretty good fee. But that kind of worries me, which is why he's not in my top 15. Because you know how those things go. Like they're just always a little cagey. It's just not, you never want that hanging over a player's head when making a signing. So I'm very worried about that, and I hope he didn't do anything like that, and he'll be good to play. But because of that, he doesn't make the top 15. But he will. But if his name is cleared and he's fine, then he certainly deserves that honorable mention here, which is why I have him in it.
All right, there we go. All right, Simone, let's see hear about your 5 picks that didn't make it, and then we'll move on from there.
So I actually did the opposite. I chose rumors instead of
Oh, no worries. Go ahead.
Just to say, I think the assess list was pretty solid. I think I might have added Joaquin Correa in there from Lazio to Inter.
I was thinking about it,
but
I think he
yeah.
fell right outside the honorable mentions. But I was
In
thinking
my mind, I
about
think
it.
he might have been a little higher up, but hey, I mean, they're all pretty similar, so it wasn't a terrible miss. But yeah, I think you pretty much got all the important ones out of the way. But yeah, anyways, so for my top rumored one right now, I'm going to just name them really quickly and just see if you have anything to say about them, Seth.
Yes.
So, the first one and the most obvious one, Cristiano Ronaldo. We all know he wants to be in the Champions League, and it's very likely that he leaves Manchester United.
Yes. So, yeah, this one hurts my heart a lot. Obviously, I'm a big Manchester United fan, and I just remember growing up watching Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United, and he is literally the sole reason I am a Man U fan. It's because of him. So when rumor had it that he was coming back, and he did, it was so great. But now he wants to leave to play Champions League football, and it's really devastating. Because I thought he was gonna stay because Eric Ten Hag was like, "Oh, like we want you to play. Like you're in my plans. Like I want you to score goals for us and be a part of this team." But you know what? As much as it hurts to say, I do not blame him. I do not blame him for wanting to leave. And I'm telling you right now, it is more than just Champions League football. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo owns Champions League. He wants to play in Champions League. I understand, and that makes sense. But he's not telling us the rest of the story. And I know behind the scenes there's more going on. Because let me tell you why. When Cristiano Ronaldo played for Manchester United back in like 2008, Manchester United was like the best team in the world. They were like the best team in the world. And it was... He played for such a respectable club who had the best manager of all time. And, the hierarchy, the executives, everything was good. Everything was fine. There was no management problem. Their team was stacked with superstars. That's Manchester United. That's how Ronaldo knows Manchester United. But when Ronaldo came back to Manchester United last year, he didn't recognize it. He was like, what is this club? He sat there, thought to himself, what is this club? What is this organization? This isn't Manchester United. This isn't what I remember. He was part of one of the best Manchester United teams of all time. That's the Manchester United he remembers. That's the Manchester United he expected to come back to. And he didn't. He came back to a Manchester United that had been through like 6 coaching changes, and they can't find their manager. They've had, ever since Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013, they've had terrible manager luck. They've had every player, every big signing that has come to Manchester United since 2013 has been a flop, an absolute flop. Everyone, like very few have actually done well, and that's just not what Ronaldo remembers. He can't believe what's going on behind closed doors, and the like the what was it, the CEO, the executive, and Ed Woodward, I think he left like last year or something. Like management was just in shambles, and it was just a disaster. He couldn't believe it. So it's not just Champions League football. He just doesn't recognize Man United. He doesn't want to. It's not the team he remembers. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. People are gonna be like, oh, it's just because he doesn't want to play Champions League. He doesn't want to stick it out through rough times. That's not the issue. That's not it. It's because he came back to a club that is unrecognizable to him. And it's just such a disgrace that Manchester United have fallen off this much. Since 2013, it's just been such a disgrace. Straight downhill, and it's still downhill. I'm praying that Erik ten Hag can turn this ship around, because it is in need of major repairs right now. But right now, it is not okay. It's not okay. And Ronaldo, I really don't want you to leave. I want you to stay, and like you're the reason I am a Man U fan. But I understand it 100%. This is not Man United. It's not. So I apologize for that long rant, but I had to get that out. It was bothering me for days.
Oh man.
And I just had to. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, Seth, I for one really appreciate your little analysis into Ronaldo's mind. I thought that was great.
Thank you. That I guarantee that's what he's thinking. I'm telling you, it's more. There's more to it. There's more to it than Champions League, guys. I'm telling you.
And I appreciate that little conversation you had with him too, telling him that he's the reason you're a Man U fan.
Bro,
I think he'll really appreciate it.
Bro, I hope he can listens to this podcast and here's what I have to say.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll listen to an hour into our podcast and hear a little bit about him.
I'll clip it and send it to him.
Oh man, but yeah, Simone, if you can relatively go through your next rumors rather quickly, because I know you guys are going to spend quite some time on your top 5, and I think we're getting to that point where we got to get back to your top 5. So if you could go through, I don't want to rush you, but if you want to just get through your pick, because I'd appreciate it.
All good. Yeah. I just want to say real quick, it's going to be rough for Ronaldo, because I know that some of the teams that he was looking to join don't really want him anymore. So I know that he thought of going to Bayern. They don't want him.
Right.
So it'll be tough for him to find a club. He might not be able to find one of these top clubs, but hopefully he can make it to the Champions League somehow or another.
Yes.
Anyways, the next big guy I have to talk about, the best player of our generation of all time, Lionel Messi. He's not content at PSG. Do you think he's gonna come back to Barcelona
This year? No.
You think he's gonna stay at PSG?
I think he has to stay at PSG. Barcelona's wage bill is just still in shambles. I don't think they would be able to afford Messi's wages right now. Maybe in a couple years when they get things structured again, sure.
When he's retired.
But yeah, I just don't see it happening, man. I know he's not the happiest, but I think I don't think he has a choice. I think he's really just got to stick it out at PSG another year, and I think he should. I really think he should. He's only been there a year. Give it another chance. PSG are in Champions League football. Just give it some time. I just don't think Barcelona's in the right position to bring him back right now. As cool as that would be.
All right, the next one we have is Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah, this one's Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. I did pause for a second, but he is currently linked to moves between Barcelona and Chelsea.
Yes. Yes. Man, I, I don't. This one's a really tricky one. I mean, Bayern don't want to let him go. They really want to keep him, but Lewandowski is so done at Bayern. He just wants a new challenge, and I don't blame him. He's been at Bayern for like 8 years now. He's won literally like 8 straight Bundesliga titles. Like, me, it's time to like move on to something else. And I'm just worried because I feel like he wants to go to Barcelona and potentially Chelsea, but I'm sorry, man. I both those teams, I think, just in recent times have produced some really failed strikers. So it scares me for Lewandowski because, I mean, you got Chelsea who have failed Lukaku, they failed Timo Werner. You have Barcelona who have failed like Aubameyang and failed Memphis Depay. Like, both these teams have just failed strikers. So I mean, Lewandowski's better than all those strikers, don't get me wrong. So he might not have a problem, but it just scares me that he might be going to one of these teams that, you know, haven't had success with strikers in the past. So I hope wherever he goes works out best for him. I personally think he's going to go to Barcelona. That's where he wants to go. That's where he said he wants to go. Barcelona have already made like 3 different offers. I feel like at some point Bayern just has to accept one. So I think Chelsea have the short end of the stick here, and I think in terms of like landing Lewandowski, but I just because of personal preference for him, I think he does want to go to Barca, and I think it will happen. I think it might be at like the end of the summer transfer, but I think it'll happen. So I'm gonna say yes to that one happening.
All right. Well, hopefully wherever he does go, he can make his impact and not fall short.
Yes.
The next one I have is Matthias de Ligt, who is linked to Bayern, Chelsea, and Manchester City.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. He's a young defender, 22, I believe, and he's very, very good internationally, at the international level, and at club level he was solid too, or he's been solid, and he would definitely help any team's defense to wherever he goes. And I've heard, as of right now, I believe Chelsea is in the lead to sign him. That is what I've heard.
Hopefully he can replace Rudiger for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he's with Andreas Christensen and Rudiger leaving you guys. I think that would be a very good replacement. I believe you guys are leaving. And what are the other 2 teams you said that he was linked to?
He was also linked to Manchester City and Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I don't really see Bayern Munich happening. Manchester City, I think De Ligt is made for a Premier League move here, so I think it's going to be Premier League. I don't know about Man City either. I mean, it's possible, but I just see him fit in at Chelsea more. I think it'd be a better fit for him, and it's probably why they're leading the race to sign him. And honestly, I'm going to say yes to you guys getting De Ligt. I think it might, I think you guys are going to have to pay like a hefty fee. Like, I'm pretty sure Juventus don't want him to go for like any less than 70 mil. But I think you guys have the funds. So I think at some point you'll get that done.
I agree. I think that if he were to come to the Premier League, that Chelsea would probably be his best bet. They're a very strong defensive team, and they have an opening, so might as well.
Yes.
And my last one This is one that's actually, I saved it for last because it's actually a race between Manchester United and Chelsea. And right now it seems that Manchester United might be out of the race. But so Chelsea might be too. It's Frankie de Jong. And he could either renew with Barcelona or he's linked to Man U or Chelsea.
Yeah. Yeah, Frankie's an interesting one. I think, man, I thought for the longest time he was going to come to Man U, and they literally said like an agreement was made, but now like something happened and like Barcelona are like really keen on keeping him and like want him to stay now. And like, I'm pretty sure Man U like put in the 65 mil offer and like they agreed on personal terms. Like, it was something like that, but I guess, I don't know, something happened and now it seems a little less likely of happening. And now because of that, Chelsea have now joined the race and it's like, oh great, here we go. Dude, this is a tricky one. I can't tell. I really don't know if he's going to stay at Barcelona or if he's going to go to Man U or even Chelsea. Like, I just don't know. I really, as a Man U fan, I wanna say that we land him because I mean, Eric Ten Hag was his coach at Ajax before, and they're very close and they know each other well. And Ten Hag likes, we need that style of play in the midfield. Especially with a bunch of midfielders leaving. I think we need somebody to really hold it down for us, but at this point, dude, I don't know. It could go any way here with Frankie de Jong. It'll be really interesting to see.
But yeah, that's it for my rumors. We don't know if any of these are going to even happen, but they're possible.
I'm sure we'll talk about them
all.
in a future podcast episode once any of those do happen, for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, let's get back to your top 5 now and see how you guys finish shaping out these confirmed transfers. So what are your guys' number 5 picks, both of y'all?
Alrighty, yeah. So at number 5, I actually have one that was just talked about by Simone at his number 6 pick. I have Sadio Mane.
Okay.
At number 5, Liverpool to Bayern Munich, 35 million euro or 32 million euros.
Not bad. Not
yeah,
bad.
I mean, we've already talked about him. World-class player.
Great player.
Really
Great
respectable. Yeah, great person. He is just such a quality addition for Bayern. And I think he signed like a 3-year deal, so he'll be there for some time. And Bayern should, especially now, have no problem continuing to win the Bundesliga as they always do. And yeah, great signing for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
So really good player. Like I said, score goals, create chances, really fast. One of the best African players in the world. Love to see him go to something, or go to a different place, try a new challenge. Love it.
Okay.
So he's my number 5.
Let's see what you got, Simone. Who's your number 5?
I love Sadio Mane, and there's not enough good things I can say about him, like I said earlier. But for me, my number 5 is another free transfer.
Ooh.
Okay.
The 29-year-old German Antonio Rudiger from Chelsea to Real Madrid.
Yes.
Oh my God, this one hurts. This one hurts a lot. Arguably,
Yeah,
he's the
100%,
best defender in the Prem this year, and he's now leaving us on a free transfer. Like, I would have at least wanted 50 mil, but nah, it's free. Whatever, I get it. Sure. Despite it hurting a lot, I do wish him the best at Real Madrid, and he's exactly the kind of defender that'll fit in there. He's extremely physical, smart, energetic, and most of all, he's a leader. This guy has the most passion I've ever seen in recent years. Obviously, you can't really compare it to decades before because they were extremely passionate, the entire team. But, this guy is extremely passionate himself, and he's always yelling at his teammates, making goofy faces, keeping their heads up. You can really see his emotion on the pitch. and he's gonna do great at Madrid. And as much as I want him to stay, I can't blame him. You know, he's kind of like a mix of Sergio Ramos and Pepe, with that aggressive mentality, and he's gonna do great. And Madrid got extremely sized to get him as a free transfer because if not, he would have definitely been a hefty bill.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Antonio Rudiger just came into his own last season. Definitely one of the best center backs, not just in the Prem, but honestly in the world right now. Really talented. Now he's going to an already stacked Madrid team, but they did need a little help at center back, and now they've got it off a free transfer. So really good.
Okay. Number 4. We're getting to the nitty gritty here. What do you got?
Yeah. So number 4.
Oh, jeez.
Whoops. One of my favorite signings here that I wish Man U got, but we're too stupid to do anything good like that. But at number 4, I have Darwin Nunez from Benfica to Liverpool, 85 million euros.
That's a wild, hefty price tag.
Yeah, I think 75 million euros. If I said 85, but could be 85 with add-ons, I think. But yeah, still very hefty price, yes.
Simone, how do you feel about your number 4?
So I'm actually gonna have to go in the complete opposite direction.
Oh.
For my number 4, I have Nunez Darwin.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. He's a super young Uruguayan from Benfica, Liverpool. Like Seth said, I have it at $82.5 million. And yeah, I mean, I completely agree with him. His playmaking and finishing reminds me of a young Diego Forlan. And Seth, you should be familiar with Forlan. He was on Manchester United. He was on Atletico Madrid. He's one of the best strikers in history, in my opinion. He won the Player of the Tournament in the 2010 World Cup, and it's funny because they're both Uruguayan, you know. And Nunez, just like Forlan, can build up an attack from nothing, and he uses small and quick cuts to get around the defenders and can finish from just about anywhere. My only issue with this transfer, and the reason it's not higher, is because I'm not sure how he's going to fit into Klopp's Liverpool team. Because the thing is, despite them being extremely good, his forward teammates, now that they lost Mane, is Salah, and, you know, it could be Diego Jota or, you know, anyone else who they have up top. And the issue with having Salah as a teammate is that Salah likes to be the one-man show. And he likes to score goals for himself. He doesn't, obviously he can pass, but when he gets the chance to, he doesn't. And I think that might be a little difficult because Nunez is used to getting all the assists, getting people playing to him, and he's also a bit of a, you know, selfish player. Not in a bad way, but he's just a bit selfish, and I think that it might be a little difficult for these two players to really connect together.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that, but I actually think Darwin Nunez will actually fit in really well with Liverpool's team, and my reasoning is you got Mo Salah on the right, just signed a huge extension with Liverpool, so congrats to him, by the way. You got the young Colombian and Luis Diaz, broke out last year for Liverpool. He'll be on that left wing. And then I think you chuck Darwin Nunez up top and you play him at that striker spot, and that's a really scary front three right there. Really, really scary. With Sadio Mane gone, I think Luis Diaz can now... Sadio Mane did play a lot of striker, actually, so Darwin Nunez can kind of just fill that void right there. As they would usually, as last season, I think they ran Luis Diaz on the right, Mane up top, and Salah on the right. And now you just replace Nunez with Mane. And obviously, Nunez isn't Mane yet, but he could be. I mean, this is a player we're talking about who, for Benfica, scored 34 goals in 41 appearances last season for Benfica. This was in all competitions. He finished as the top scorer in Portugal's top flight, and it's just no surprise that a big team like Liverpool got him, picked him up. I mean, this guy, he just has so much time to develop. He's so young, and I think he'll fit in perfectly with how Klopp likes to play, just slide in right for Mane. And I think he'll be a really good fit there. And I just want to relate him to actually a different Uruguayan striker, Luis Suarez, who actually played for Liverpool a while back and had pretty good success. So if he just has half that success, he'll be good. He will be good, and I really like this signing here by Liverpool. They did well. They did really well here.
Alrighty. Good picks. Same exact picks for number 4. I'm a little bit concerned that it might have the same 3 through 1, but we'll see what happens. Maybe not,
I don't think so.
but maybe not.
Actually, I know so.
That is fair. Yeah, you probably have a 3 that Simone already picked, but or 2. Who knows? Go ahead. Anyways, number 3. What do you guys got? Both of you.
Yeah, so the reason I know we won't have the same next 3 is because this is a player Simone already said at number 3. And at number 3, I have Antonio Rudiger. Chelsea to Real Madrid, free transfer. Pretty much already talked about him, so I won't talk about him much more. But great season at Chelsea. Became one of the most sought-out defenders after that. And it's just, again, Chelsea dropped the ball again. Not able to agree to new terms with Rudiger. Not able to sell him for anything. But he wanted more. He wanted a new challenge. He wanted just to move on from Stamford Bridge and go somewhere else. And I mean, Real Madrid, I mean, they already have David Alaba and Militao, and now you just throw Rudiger in there. They've got 3 really, really strong center backs looking really good. Rudiger's in the prime of his career. He looked decent for Germany in the Nations League in June. And yeah, he'll just be able to bring a strong, dominant, physical presence and bring good stability to that back line for Real Madrid. So really, really good signing for them. And sorry, Simone, but Chelsea really, really dropped the ball on that.
They did, and honestly, I think Rudiger probably deserved to be higher than Darwin Nunez for me as well. But I was just shocked with the I was just kind of upset about the transfer, so that's why it's so low.
Fair enough.
Good.
I don't blame you.
All right, for my number 4.
You're 3.
3. Sorry, my bad. For my number 3, I have Paul Pogba from Manchester United to Juventus as a free transfer.
Free transfer. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, shoot. I know Seth was telling me he felt bad for me, but man, do I feel bad for you, bro. Losing one of your team's most important midfielders is tough, but I do think it is the right option for him. Pogba was one of those players that had so much potential when he was younger at Juventus, and he never truly fulfilled it at Man U. Kind of like all the recent players that have been there, like you mentioned. He's like a mystery card, or, he could either score the most outrageous goal you've ever seen in your life, or he's a ghost, and you don't even realize he's playing. He's a great player, and the only thing is that the only thing that he lacked at Manchester United was consistency. And, he's only 29, so he still has a few more years left to hopefully improve his consistency, and hopefully it does at Juventus.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it right now. I do not have Paul Pogba in my top 15 or honorable mentions at all, actually. And I thought about him, but listen, he was not one of our most important players. This guy, as talented as he is, and he may have been quality-wise one of the best, he never played. This dude just did not play for us. He would always be out on injury. Some of his injuries I thought were very questionable, and I feel like he just extended his time off personally because he didn't want to play for us or something. Something fishy was going on there, and it was very odd. And yeah, I was just I got sick of him. I mean, I love Paul Pogba for France, and he does well for France. He does really well. But at club level, I mean, since Juventus, since his prime in Juventus, just hasn't been the same. And obviously that's, part of that could be just because freaking Manchester United's curse of bringing in great players. But it just brings me back to like a Richarlison, but honestly in a little bit of a worse way. And I love Pogba. I love him as a player. I follow him on Instagram, for crying out. I just love this guy, but he was just too injury prone, and he scored 1 goal last season and barely played. And I don't know. I just couldn't find it in my heart to add him in the top 15 or even the honorable mentions as being a best transfer, because yes, internationally he's really good, but maybe he'll refresh himself at Juventus and he'll be that same player again. But just the past few years at club level, it just hasn't been it for him, and it scares me. His injuries scare me. His the way he just takes care of himself scares me, and I'm just worried about him as a player. So, yeah. But if he does return to his quality form like we know him as, easily a top 15 best signing. But right now, just very, very worried.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I think that he wasn't the best at Manchester United. But I think this is a very big transfer. He's going back to Juventus, where it all started, where all that potential was seen from him. And I know it might take a few games for him to ease into it, but I think he's going to do much better at Juventus. And I hate to say this, but I think that the reason he was playing so poorly wasn't just because of himself, but I think it was also the conditions at Manchester United. I don't think he was very well respected there. And I think that there was a lot of issues, not just with the coaches, but just, in general with all the commotion going on in these last few years. I know it's been a very difficult time. And I know that he's definitely not been on his game, especially lately in the last year or so. But we've seen how good he can be in certain games. And I think that going back to Juventus is definitely the move for him. And I'm very excited to see him there because he's 29. This guy's in his prime. So... I think that we're going to see the best Paul Pogba we've ever seen. But maybe not. Maybe he's flopped too hard and he can't get back up. But
yeah, I do hope for the best for him. And I really do like him as a player a lot. So I really hope he succeeds. But just very worried. And just because of that, didn't want to add him in the list whatsoever, so just wanted to avoid him completely.
Oh boy. All right. What a little bit of a mix-up we have here, but it's totally fine. The top 2 guys. This is going to be very interesting. Who are your 2 best transfer deals of 2022? Seth and Simone, your number 2s coming up now. What do you got?
Yeah, so at number 2 here, it's really a no-brainer for me. It's Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni from Monaco to Real Madrid for an 80 million euro transfer. I mean, this kid, this is just unbelievable that Real Madrid was able to get him. I mean, I think this is the only club he wanted to go to.
Just before you start, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to mention mine.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. My fault.
My number 2 is actually Arlien. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's from France. He's 22 years old.
Arlien Tchouaméni, my guy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, he was an $88 or $88 million transfer. But yeah, go ahead. Continue with
$88
what you're
is a
saying.
great deal.
So,
'Cause I had
so
the
I'm
exact
glad we
same
agree
guy.
on that one. I mean, yeah, this guy, what an absolute player for Monaco he was, and he is just one of the top young midfielders in the whole world, literally the whole world. And it was just amazing that Madrid are able to get him. Madrid have now successfully set themselves up for their new trio of midfielders. Because right now you have Toni Kroos, you have Luka Modric, and you have Casemiro, who are all getting pretty old. But now you have Tchouaméni, you have Eduardo Camavinga, who is a beast himself, and you have Federico Valverde. Right there, they have already found their new three, and they still have their old three. It's just
Damn.
unbelievable the business Real Madrid does and how they just continue to set themselves up and bring in new talent for the future. Just unbelievable. What a player Tchouaméni is going to be for Real Madrid. I'm really excited to see him play, and this was just a perfect signing for them. They have really put themselves in a great position, Real Madrid.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, this kid is different. He's still super young, but he literally can do anything. He can finish, he can dribble, he can pass, he can shoot, he can header, and most importantly, he can defend. You know, he's coming into Real Madrid as their new CDM to eventually take over for Casemiro in a few years. And I mean, man, like you said, what a good pick. I know they spent so much on him, $88 million. But as of now, I think he's worth it. He's coming in as a CDM, but with his current skill level, only at 22 years old as well, he could honestly play anywhere. He could do anything. This guy is insane.
I agree. 100%.
Oh boy. Who, mine or Seth's?
Says,
Oh boy.
Sorry about that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys get to it. Your number one overall picks. You guys got the same number two. What do you got for number one?
Seth,
know-
should we say it at the same time?
You know, I feel like we have to because it just makes sense. Should we say the first and last name or just the last name? All right, hold on. We'll say it in a sec. Gabe's just fixing the camera real quick. We gotta make sure he hears this. So,
Seth, scoot over a little bit to your left.
oh, apologies. Apologies.
Technical difficulties.
Alrighty, y'all. I am back. And
All right, so Simone and I are so confident that our number one pick is the same that we are going to say it at the exact same time.
this will be really hilarious if you guys don't have the same number one. But
It would be really sad. Yeah. All right, so Gabe, would you like to give us a countdown?
I will
and
give you
then-
guys a countdown. So Seth and Simone's number one greatest transfer as of early July 3rd, 2022 in 3, 2, 1.
Erling
Javi
Haaland.
Simmons. What?
Wait, what?
What did you just say?
What did you just say?
Javi Simmons?
Whoa. Wow. How did I
I'm just kidding.
How did I forget Javi Simmons? Oh no. Not Javi.
Okay, before we get into it, I just want to make a joke. He is a free transfer for PSG to PSV. This kid was, I remember when he was like 10 years old, seeing him on my For You page on Instagram, and they're like, this is the next big thing, and he's just been a flop so far.
Damn.
This kid is
Hate
funny.
to see it.
Yes, I also had the 21-year-old Norwegian as my top pick for $66 million from BVB Dortmund to Manchester City.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not even there's no debate. Like, the only player that I can think of right now that would have gone ahead of him that could have made a transfer is if Mbappe did go to Real Madrid. But besides that, there's nobody that's passing Erling Haaland in the number one spot. I mean, it makes me want to cry a little that Manchester City got him.
Mm.
Actually, it makes me want to cry a lot, but it's just such a good signing for them. That is the only piece of the puzzle that Manchester City was missing, was that number 9 in Erling Haaland, and
Now they got it.
now they got it, and he's gonna be just fine working under Pep. I mean, this has to be one of the best transfers in Manchester City's history, like one of the best. And I mean, we know Haaland, one of the best young strikers. He is top class, only 21 years old, and he is just, it's literally like everybody is saying him and Mbappe are going to be that next Messi Ronaldo battle, and it's starting to look like that.
Mm.
He's just an all-around superstar in every way. He is so dangerous every time he touches the ball. I mean, he is just like this Norwegian freak. Like he is just so good at like running at your defense and just scoring goals. Like he has great pace, insane physicality for a striker. Like there's videos of him just like absolutely like throwing Van Dijk to the ground. Like it's just like things you like would never see from a normal striker. And yeah, Manchester City needed that central striker, and they got it. And now they will probably win the Premier League for the next like 5 years straight. So,
Damn.
yeah, I mean, it's, you can't get a better signing than that. And for the price too, I'm very shocked. I mean, this should have been like in 180 million euros like signing, and it was like just a little over like 65. Like it's like ridiculous. So
Yeah.
hats off to Manchester
I just
City,
wanted to
man.
say,
Crazy.
yeah, I just want to say that despite him and Mbappe being extremely good, I don't think we can ever compare them to Ronaldo and Messi. I don't think anyone will ever come close to being compared.
Oh
Their
no,
creativity,
I
their
wasn't
skills
comparing
are
them to
different.
Messi and Ronaldo. All I was saying is once Messi and Ronaldo's days are done, that will probably be the new like the new big rivalry. But no, they will never reach Messi Ronaldo status, but that will be the next talking rivalry is what I meant.
Man, well, watch
clarify.
out for Norway at the 2026 World Cup.
I completely agree with what you were saying about him, though. He's fast, he's strong, he's tall, and has an extremely dangerous left foot. And I think he'll fit in extremely well to the City squad, mainly because of how selfless the City midfielders are. These guys pass for days, and with that, just one through ball, and he's through. City has some of the most creative midfielders in the world, and all they have to do, like I said, it's one through ball, and he's through. And after losing Aguero, they desperately needed a striker, and Gabriel Jesus was, despite being a good player, he never had that level of consistency that Aguero did.
Yeah.
So this is a great transfer, and I think that it'll literally take him 1 or 2 games to get used to the physicality of the Premier League defenders, and then he'll be nearly unstoppable.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think this is just gonna be a scary sight to see. I mean, I can just already see it now. Freaking Kevin De Bruyne playing some beautiful through balls into Erling Haaland, and it's just goal after goal. But yeah, Erling Haaland, the undisputed number 1 pick right there.
Well, we made it, guys. We made it through all 15 transfers. Thank you for sticking through with us.
Yes.
We will see you guys next week for episode 8 of Squad Goals. It'll be a fun episode we got planned for you. And yeah, I mean, Seth, Simone, anything you want to say before we sign off, or are we good to go?
No, I think we're all set. I think Simone, I just want to mention Simone's list. I thought Simone had a pretty solid list. It was good to see once we got towards that like top 8, top 7,
Mm.
pretty much most of ours started to be the same. But from like top 15 to top 8, we kind of took a very different
Yeah,
path.
pretty wild.
He went more veteran MLS style. I went more young European style, but it's fine because
Both of those are justifiable.
yeah, no, I mean it depends at just which way you look at the list, and I thought both were very respectable, and I thought I was just really glad to see like once we started getting higher in the list that our picks were pretty much matching up and pretty much the same. So
Mm.
it's good to see that we agreed on the big picks. So
Yeah, there you go. What about you, Simone? How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, our lists were very similar, even starting at the 10th spot. I know we had Coutinho, starting at Coutinho, very similar. And at first, I had a feeling Seth was going to go for the youngsters because that's just what he likes to do. And yeah, I'm more of, I guess I felt a lot of nostalgia looking at these transfers, and I just felt like obviously they might not have been the better transfers because, you know, going to the MLS versus going to some big team in Europe. But they were still big. In my mind, they were big and important transfers because it's like, wow, these guys are kind of like, to an extent, hanging up the boots. These guys that we've seen or at least my whole life.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just found them to be very big transfers just, you know, because of what I know about football.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, makes sense to us, and we got a good picks from both of you guys, both very quality transfers. And that's going to do it for Squad Goals episode 7. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. And we will see you guys next week for the next episode. We got our co-stars here, Seth and Simone. I'm your host, Gabe. And this has been Squad Goals. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.